Hi everyone, my name is Bloodstained Wings, and someone asked me to do more tutorials on how to do a sky. And so last week, you saw me do a beautiful dramatic sky using a palette knife, and then I realized palette knives are hard, and I should probably do one that doesn't involve a palette knife. So, I gave it a good thunk, and came up with this. Ta-da! So this starts on a white canvas and uses a whole plethora of color, and I can't wait to show you guys how I did it. I also made sure to keep my palette on the camera so that you guys can see the colors and how I'm mixing the colors so that you have a better idea of how the colors come to play in the overall painting. So without further ado, let's get to it! So as per the intro, we are going to be doing focusing in on a very beautiful sky painting. It's been requested of me to do a sky and do some more sky focused tutorials, so that's what I'm gonna do. And starting with here, I tried to make it so you guys could see my palette better. You can see I've got a rainbow of colors going on, and that I'm starting with white mixed with the goop, which is the Neo-Maglip Gamblin. Yeah. So we're going to start. I also have my painting in portrait style as opposed to landscape style. And that's just so I could have more space to focus on the sky being voluminous. And that's really what I wanted to focus on, was the volume of the sky. As opposed to the breadth of it. I wanted to really just showcase clouds billowing. And I thought this was the best orientation to do that. So, starting with the liquid white, which is the titanium white mixed with the goop that we have here, in a very thin layer, making sure we have good coverage over the entirety of the canvas. And there we go. Now the colors that I have going around my canvas here, I have, here I'll use a different brush to point with. I'll point with this one, or with this end, that makes more sense. So this is lemon yellow, this one is yellow ochre, this is alizarin crimson, this is quinacridone violet. This, you can see, is tiny, tiny, tiny. It's probably too much. And that is the phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is really strong. I really want to emphasize that you don't want a lot of this, and you want to be very, very tentative when you grab some of this. And then I've got some Veridin hue as well. If you don't have Veridin hue, you can use phthalo green, which is going to be stronger, so keep that in mind when mixing. But both colors are roughly the same. They are different, but they're roughly the same, give or take. So I am going to start. I'm going to keep this brush for blending. So keeping that in mind, I am going to start with this brush, and I'm going to I'm going to mix some white, where all of these colors are going to be mixed with white, because we want this to, I want to have like a nice pastel kind of color. So I'm just going to lay in some colors, and we're going to layer clouds on top of these. So this is basically just our background sky. So what I want to start with is some yellow in and around there. And we're just going to carry it down and then carry it up. Just a little bit up into the sky area. And now we have a nice soft yellow, and I like that. I'm just going to blend it a little bit, make sure that there we go, that's nice. Okay, and now I'm going to grab a little bit of the yellow ochre. Again, making sure I have white on my brush so that it's not too much yellow ochre, still in the pastel kind of color spectrum. And I'm just going to kind of focus in on some areas. Mostly I'm gonna play over here, I think, with this. Keeping in mind, actually no, I'm gonna go all the way around. We're gonna go all the way around. Change my mind entirely. I think I'm actually gonna make that peach and have this the more orangey kind of color. Yeah, through here. And now I'm pretty satisfied with that kind of color. I'm gonna go into just like you can see, I'm barely touching it. So that's all I did. I've got the tiniest corner, and I'm actually gonna mix that in with what I've got going on. And when I want more, I'm gonna grab more, just a little bit at a time, mixing it with the yellow ochre to make sure I have a nice pastel peachy kind of color. That's what I'm going for, is just this peachy kind of pastel, adding some white to it. Oh yeah, that's nice. Let's add a little bit more red. Get it nice and peachy colored. There we go. So using that color now, I'm gonna add some peach. I'm gonna focus the peach over here, I think. And again, this is just the base color so that I have an idea of what's going on. We're gonna blend, and everything's gonna be blended and nice and blended. This needs more pink. More pink. There we go. And that's just allowing me to pop in some pink to really just billow. I'm gonna billow it all the way up there. Why not? Well, you know what? Let's go like full pink. Let's grab a whole bunch of that and just really get it pink up here. Why not? Again, we're gonna blend all of that. So right now it doesn't look very blended. That's okay. We don't need it to be perfectly blended right now. I'm gonna use a different brush because we're gonna go into a different color over here. So what I'm actually gonna do is take some of that lemon yellow that we had earlier, and I'm just barely touching. So that's it. I just barely touch the corner of it with the green so that I have like a greeny yellow. A yellowy green, if you will. And I'm gonna put that yellowy green over here. And this is gonna act as a separation between the pink and the blue that we're gonna have in the corner. But I also want a little bit more green. Add a little more green to that. Get it slightly greenish. And just have a little bit of green going on. And again, I'm going to be blending this, so it's okay that it's not super perfect. So I'm just touching the blue. So I want a little bit of blue up in the corner. And now we have a rainbow sky, just like that. So very, very, very gently. I might come back and add more of this down here because I think my sky is too high up. I think what I need is more. I will just add the pink down here. Just these peaches and pinks are gonna explode a little bit. I think I'm gonna come back in using a different brush, grabbing some of that white and the bright yellow that is the lemon yellow, and just come in here and add that back in. Just lowering my horizon, basically, is what I'm doing. There we go. All right, now I can take my brush, that is the big brush, and we're using it for blending. So, we're gonna come back and do the ocean later, but first I wanna focus in on the sky, just so that we have the sky going on. So, we have our beautiful colors here. We're just gonna blend them together. There we go. Kind of getting rid of the lines that we had previously going on. We don't want that. We want everything to be nicely blended here. Okay, and so that I keep the reds and the greens and the separate, and the blue. We don't want to touch the blue with anything except what's going to be blue, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to try to blend this very gently. There we go. some blue action. Just kind of bring it down a little bit onto the sides here. That'll knock off some of the excess paint, which is good because we want to use this brush for other things. But also it means that the sides get painted, which is good. I'm gonna, once again, knock off the excess paint as best I can on a paper towel to the side. And now we have a lovely place to start, which is really exciting. That's what you want. You want to have a nice place to start for your stuff. Now, when you're composing this, you want to think about doing like one shade darker in the spots. So this spot here, if it's going to have clouds in it, would have this color in there as its cloud. This color here would have this pinkier color in there for the clouds, and then so on and so forth, so that your clouds are the darker representation of the cloud above it, if that makes sense when doing your colors. I don't know if that made sense, but that's what we're going for, and that's what we're going to try to achieve here, is like a pastel cloud situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the yellow ochre. This is just the straight yellow ochre, and I'm going to add some fluffy clouds through this area here as my separating device between the yellow and the not yellow. Now I'm just doing little circles. You can see the top of my brush. I'll slow it down. This is the kind of shape that we're doing here. And then we're going to use our brush here, and we're going to very gently blend out the bottom. Just blend out the bottom, and then fluff up the top. And now that is very subtle. Very subtle. I can barely see that against the rest of it, and same with you guys. And that's okay. I think it just added a little bit of depth, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to grab some of the pink here and mix it in with the orange. With the yellow ochre is what I meant to say, to make an orange. I can talk. There we go. So now we've got this orange color, and that orange color I'm going to be able to do more billowy clouds with over top here. See? So now you can see it, and because it goes into this section here, it all makes sense. So once again, you're going to very gently blend out the bottom, just using the corner of the brush there to blend out the very bottom, so it kind of goes back into this color, and then fluff up the tops. There. So now you can see we've got a real cloud going on. I'm going to go into a little bit of the quinacridone violet. I'm going to mix that in over here with a little bit of that pink, the alizarin crimson, and I'm going to kind of have like I want to have like a dark cloud over here that's kind of like on the edge, just like really in there, billowing out over top of here, that just kind of blends. So I just want to have that little bit of darkness in there. I think that it'll really work with the rest of the painting. So once again, blending out the bottom and then fluffing up the top. There. That's an angry cloud, that is, right there. Very angry cloud. I don't know who peed knit cereal, but somebody definitely did. So going back into that orange color, yeah, there is some of the quinacridone violet, and it's going to make it a little bit darker, and that's okay. We're okay with that. Just doing some big old clouds through here, and I think we're going to go a little bit more with the quinacridone violet in here to kind of darken that up a bit. There we go. And you can just do that. You can just do that, and then we're going to come in and we're going to blend out the bottom. Please make sure that when you do this, you leave enough space between your one cloud and the next one so that when you're blending the top or the bottom of your cloud here, you are not blending away the tops of the other one. If you do, you can come back and put them in later, which is fine. But you'll get mad at me for not telling you about it if I don't tell you about it now. So there we go. I think we're going to come over with these clouds and do some more detail later, but for now, I'm really liking the way they're looking, so that's good. I think what I'm going to do is dangerous. So dangerous. I'm gonna actually go over them right now. I'm gonna take a different brush. So I'm taking now a round brush, going in. This is the just white. I just have white on my brush. I just want to give some highlights and some like color going on to like what is happening in the sky. So I want like a sun here. So I'm just gonna blend that out. I just wanted it a little bit more pastel as well, because we were leaning away from that, and I wanted to bring back that pastel. So I'm going to highlight the bottom of these clouds. I forgot the word for cloud. That's good. And I'm just going to do that by very, very gently touching and flicking. And that's how I'm going to fluff up these clouds and light them up just a little bit on the bottom. And then very, very gently, we're going to blend that into the cloud so that it's kind of one with the cloud. There. Very gently. I'm going to do the same thing on this one here. Just very gently fluffing up the bottom so it looks like it's catching the light down there, which is what I want. I want it to catch the light of the sun down there. I think I need to do that again because it picked up a lot of that orange that was on there. So there we go. Just want more like texture in this guy. I may come back with a palette knife. I promised myself that I wouldn't, that I would do one painting, just one painting this week that didn't use a palette knife. I just really like using the palette knife. I'm sorry guys, it's true. I do. So, you'll have to forgive me for that. But, for now, we can come back and highlight these bottoms right here. And I'm just going to blend. So it all kind of becomes one. There we go. So now we've got some we need some more highlights on this guy in the front here. This guy in the front did not get the attention that they deserve. There we go. That's better. A little bit more of a highlight on that guy. So now you can see there's this highlight on these clouds. And I'm just going to make sure that it all makes sense by blending it a little bit more. There we go. Apparently I'm just going to blend everything away. Just blend it away. Okay, so now we're going to take some of the kind of teal color that we have over here that was like the yellow and the white mixed with a little bit of the green. And we're going to use that color to build up some clouds over here. So we have these rainbow clouds going on. Definitely need more paint than that. Sometimes you just need more paint. That's really just all it is. There we go. use this brush to blend in. All right. There we go. And then using that same brush we have here, we're just gonna highlight the bottoms. There we go. That's what we want that to look like. And we'll just blend. And gently lift and flick. So it all kind of makes sense. That was a good one. That was a really good one, and I'm really happy with that one. It's a little far away from where everything else is, but that's okay. We're gonna do this. You know what I think? I think I might do something crazy later, but first we're gonna finish these clouds up here. So let's get some more of this green. Darken this up a bit because we're getting further away. And then we're just gonna go in and do another cloud right through here. And we're just gonna blend out the bottom as we do and flip up the top. There we go. Grabbing our highlighting paintbrush, we're just gonna go ahead and plop in some more highlights, and we're just gonna blend in little circles and then fluff. Beautiful. All right, let's do one blue one, I think, just to throw everybody for a mess. We'll just have a blue one through. Actually, it's still a little green, but that's okay. It's just a little cloud hanging out of there. So I am going to now add some rays of sunlight because I feel like this needs some rays of sunlight. So I'm going to clean one of my brushes. So I cleaned this brush. And I used the paint thinner, and now I'm using a paper towel to dry it off to make sure that there's no residual paint thinner left on the brush. That's very important. You want to make sure there's no paint thinner left on your brush. I cannot tell you guys enough to make sure that there's nothing left on your brush, because otherwise you're going to lift paint off as opposed to put paint on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the white with the yellow in it, and from my sunspot I'm going to pull outwards like that in the directions to try to make sun rays happen, and then I'm going to add a darker cloud here on top of that that's going to enclose that whole thing so it looks like the sun is hiding behind a cloud. So that's my idea. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll just do everything with a palette knife and it'll be fine. Here we go. There we go. Grabbing some more. Make sure we have nice everything. Oh, that was a good one. There. So we just have these rays of sunlight coming out from a cloud that doesn't exist yet, but that's okay. It will exist, and that's the point. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my fan brush, and I'm going to go into the alizarin crimson and the quinacridone violet and make a really nice purple cloud through here that is really dark because it is blocking that sunlight there. You see? And now, using the big brush, I'm going to go in and blend out the bottom. Once again. And fluff up the top. circular motions to try to make everything more cloud-like. There we go. So now we have sunlight shining out from this cloud. I'm going to do another purple cloud because that actually worked really well and I really like the way it looks. So I'm going to go back into that purple, mix with the alizarin crimson on my fan brush here and do another cloud that's like on top of these other clouds here. And that's the idea, is to create this depth. So these clouds are behind and this cloud is on top. And then we'll do another one that's on top right here. There we go. And then we can just blend out the bottom and fluff up the top. And that'll kind of push everything back and further away, and this is creating depth. Now if you want to create more depth, which I think I do, I'm going to grab some white and I'm going to add a highlight through here, and then I can add another dark cloud in front of that. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to just pop in a little cloud. I obviously need a lot more of the white here. There we go. Oh, it's not working for me. Here, there we go. Got a little bit there. Okay. And then you blend out the bottom. And you lift up the top. And then you go back into this color. And you just do another one. Now you can get real carried away with this if you're not careful, which I'm about to. I'll tell you, I'm right on the verge of going too far. So I'm going to stop after this cloud, but when at home, when you're doing this, if you see a place that you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that, then you go ahead and do that. For now, I really like the way this looks, so I'm not going to mess with it any further. I am, however, going to now do the seascape that I want to do down here, which I think is going to look really nice. And the way that I'm going to do that is by grabbing the Verdant hue here that I have, and I'm going to just add in as straight as I can a line across there. There we go. And I want to actually have in the center, and I've got to get more paint out because I'm out of paint. As you can see, it happens, and that's fine. It's no big deal with running out of paint. You just got to go back for it. So I'm going to put that brush aside, go and grab this brush again, grab some of that yellow ochre and mix it with the yellow here, because I want to have this yellow part here, I want to have that reflected in the waters. So I'm having a nice little moment there. Where it kind of blends into with that. Trying to be real gentle with my blending to get that very nice there. Excellent, we did it. And now I'm going to try to make it a little bit peachy by going straight into the yellow ochre. And that's going to be the next step, is just the straight yellow ochre. And then, again, we're going to have that come out a little bit, and then we're going to make a nice peachy color. There we go. And have the peachy color come out a bit to play. And And then we'll go right into the alizarin crimson to just have a little bit on the bottom. It's just really bright to kind of reflect the brightness of these purple clouds down in the water. Now, once again, I'm going to blend this, so now be prepared for this to change entirely. But when blending this, be very, very cautious of where you have the yellow, because that yellow will disappear very quickly. So you want to be very, very careful when blending it. And I'm actually cleaning off my brush as much as I can here, just to try to knock off some of that excess color. Okay, and starting in this yellow area, and going into the peachy color. And blending into the red. Being very gentle with it, trying to make sure to not cross-contaminate these colors. Okay, going back into the green. All right, we have ourselves a beautiful little water thing going on. Okay, now I'm going to grab more white because we are, all of our white got contaminated. That's okay, we can get some more. All right, going into the white. I'm going to thin it down just a smidge because I want to make sure that it's going over top of these colors. And we're just going to kind of make like wave shapes happen. We're not going to go super detailed in with the waves, but you want to start with the light area here. And we've already picked up a lot of that green, so I'm going to clean my brush. And go back into the white. Picked up too much green. Go back into the white. It's very important that you make sure that you don't contaminate these areas or else they're going to lose their charm. So you want to make sure that you have them the right colors. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a nice little water line like that, and I'm just going to pull this back. I'm just gently pulling on that line that I made to blend it backwards, and that's going to give it the kind of look to have like a little edge where there's like water here. You know what I mean? Where the water like comes in very softly. That's what I'm going for, is that kind of soft water. And now I'm going into the green. Now that I've already done the part that I want to do that is not green, now I go into the green, because the green is many shades stronger. Now you don't want to destroy all the darkness that's there. You want to keep most of that there. You just want to have little highlights of white kind of bouncing in and out to show that the water is playing and reflecting the light and doing all kinds of fun things. So taking a little bit of that white on the brush, and I'm just going to grab this edge and I'm going to pull straight down very gently. Very, very gently here. That's going to make this area look wet once I blend it. So I'm grabbing a little more white. Taking my big brush, cleaning off the excess green that I know was there, and just pull straight down very gently. It's important that you go straight down or else it's not going to look like reflections. So this is going to make this look like wet sand. There we go, and then just very gently across. There. I think I'm just going to brighten up that line a little bit with, you guessed it, the palette knife. I'm sorry, I couldn't avoid it. I just a little bit, okay, you guys? Just a little bit of that palette knife action. Okay, tiny roll of paint. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hold it like this and push down very firmly and then pull it across very firmly. All right, and I did mix this with a little bit of the liquid clear so that way this paint is very thin and it should go across the whole thing. And again, that's just a little roll of paint right on the end there. And we're just going to push down and then really push. You can see I am bending the knife very firmly. I have run out of paint, but I will grab more. That little roll of paint is going to, that little roll of waterline is going to make it look like this is more, there we go, alive. And I'm just going to blend that back again. Oh, geez, there's a little bit of red on that. It's okay, we'll blend it out. There we go. I'm just going to blend back just a little bit. Once again, there. And now we have a nice strong line that is our water line there, and I genuinely enjoy that. Without going too far, this is my rainbow seaside. And I really enjoyed playing with color here. I hope that you guys enjoyed playing with color, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the dramatic sky. And if you do this yourselves, please, please, please share it. Show me how yours turned out. Yeah, I'm genuinely excited by how this painting turned out. So I want to say thank you very much to everyone who watched the video. If you like this, please feel free to subscribe, comment, like, do all the YouTube things. And if you want to see me paint live, you can join me on Twitch, twitch.tv/bloodstainedwings. I also have a Patreon, and their names are going by. And I'd like to give a special thank you to all of my Patreons who make this possible. And if you want any of my paintings, you can go to the link tree below, and it'll have all of the links to all of the things. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely day, and remember that you are loved and you deserve to be loved. Have a wonderful day. Mwah!